This presentation will be discussing crimes in the United States over a 20-year period. This presentation is for MBA 625 Managerial Statistics in Spring 2020. Table of contents. We will be covering assumption, crime data, charts, correlation coefficient, central tendency, probability, standard deviation, regression, and outcomes. Assumption. As the population increases every year, the crime rate will decrease. This is the crime data in the United States from 1997 to 2016, and it's according to the official website of FBI. By converting the data into an area chart, we can see that property crime is the most crime within the 20 years, and the least crimes are the motor vehicle theft, aggravated assault, robbery, and rape. These are the crime charts over the year. Among these crimes, we can see that there's a significantly decrease from 1997 to 2016, except rape. There's only a slightly decrease between 2009 to 2014, but it has raised back after 2014 and keep increasing until 2016. Moving on to the next slide. Motor vehicle crime has the most clearly decreases among the others, which has a huge drop from 1.3 million to 765,000. And this is the population chart among 1997 to 2016, and you can see that the population keep increasing year by year. Moving on to the correlation coefficient, there's a strong correlative relationship between year and population, which has the correlation of 0.99. From the graph before, it also shows America's population growth year by year. However, the year has a strong negative correlation with the following crimes, which are aggravated assaults, property crime, larceny theft, and motor vehicle theft. These crimes has over negative 0.9 of correlation with the coming year, which could be explained that these crime rates are decreasing every year by comparing to the previous one. By looking at the second column, the population, it has a strong negative correlation relationship with larceny theft, aggravated assault, and property crime with a negative correlation over negative 0.9, which could be explained as the population increases, these crimes are significantly decreased. Among the correlations, property crime has a positive correlation of 0.99 with larceny theft on the right-hand side, which is the strongest positive correlation from the variables. Besides that, each crime has a positive correlative relationship with each other. As one crime increases, the others increases as well. So moving on to the scatter diagram. As you can see from the scatter diagram, the crime in the United States has a positive correlation in general. Besides that, it has a part of outlier at the bottom left, which are negative correlative relationship as we mentioned previously, the year and the population with the following crimes.
So in this section, we're going to talk about the probability of each type of crime over this 20-year period. In the first year, as we can see, probability of crime was more than ever in these 2 decades. But at the same time, the most probable type of crime was motor vehicle theft, which is the highest one. And then in the second place is robbery, And in the third place is aggravated assault. The least probable type of crime was rape. However, despite all the other type of crime, the rape maintain somehow the same probability in the first and the last year. And over time, the probability of all types of crimes has been decreased except rape. And for burglary and motor vehicle, there is least probability in the last year. As we can see in here, the probability of murder and non-negligent manslaughter is a steady trend, and for the probability of rape has been fluctuating, and in the second decade, it has a dramatically decreasing rate. For burglary and a property crime, it was somehow a steady, but at the end, the trend was a downward trend, and the amount of crime was decreasing. The probability of motor vehicle theft has been decreased significantly, especially if you want to compare the first and the last year. Uh, However, the probability of larceny theft and probability of robbery and aggravated assault has been decreased, but the trend was somehow gradually. For robbery and aggravated assault, it was a little bit more difference between the first and the last year, but we can see somehow the same trend over time. About the mean, we have the mean for each type of crime on the screen. The least was for murder and non-negligent manslaughter, which is 1600, and the most was property crime, which is over 9 million.
Standard deviation for each category of a crime. As we can see, murder and rape robbery have the highest standard deviation, but property crime has the lowest standard deviation. And for a regression, the big question is there a relation between population and different kind of a crime? In other words, can we predict population if we know the number of a crime? We created different model to figure out the best model. We're gonna explain every model. For the first one, as we can see, the significant if below than 0.05, which is significant, and R square is 0.98, and also we have many type of a crime have B value more than 0.05. We're gonna delete the highest one, which is larceny theft. And we created another models which is significant if of 4.55, and it's below than 0.05, and R square it's also 0.98. And for a B value for different crime, with this time we have to delete burglary because the B value more than 0.05, it's 0.37. And we created third models with significant if 5.35, which is below than 0.05, and also R square 0.89. And for a B value, this time we have to delete RAB legacy efficient, which B value more than 0.05, to figure out the last model, which significant if 3.47, it's below than 0.05, and all the categories of a crime have p value less than 0.05. And now, depend on this data, we can predict the population depend on the type of a crime. So for every unit increase for assault, the population will decrease around 200, and also the population will decrease around 804 for every increase of property crime. For other crime like property, for every increase, the population will increase 87.32.
Moving on to the outcomes. From an analysis we have mentioned throughout the presentation, we have strongly stated that there is a positive correlation among all types of crime. The probability of crime has been minimally decreased over years, whereas the population had an upward trend. Thank you for watching, and the reference of this presentation will be included on the next page.